Hey, Sharif.
Hey, how's it going?
Good man. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir. I can hear you good.
Nice to meet you. I'm Adrian. I'm the CEO. Dan leads sales over here at Mail Monitor. Jen's my assistant.
Sweet.
Nice to
Nice to
meet
meet you,
you.
Adrian. Nice to meet you, Dan.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you, mate.
Our process is really simple. I'll just outline it real quick so you have an understanding. We just kind of do a first pass, vibe check on the first call, ask some
Sweet.
questions about your resume and experience. And then if that call goes well, then we circulate your stuff to the team and then they might schedule calls with you. Then we make a final decision after everybody on the team has had a chance to check out your stuff.
Okay.
So this call probably anywhere from 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then we would schedule something else later after the team indicates to us they want to touch base with you.
Okay.
Um, where are you based, Sharif?
Based out in Phoenix,
And where you?
Arizona.
Okay.
Yeah, originally
Nice.
from
Dan and I,
Michigan.
Flagstaff.
You said you guys, what about Flagstaff?
We went to NAU
Oh,
together
yeah. Oh,
back in the
cool.
day.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. Is that where you're from originally?
No, originally I'm from Michigan. So I just recently moved out here. And I'm newly married too, me and my wife now. So it's been dope. Like, be
Yes.
in the sun every day. Thank you. Be in the good weather. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I miss that. Um, so are you currently employed now?
Yeah, so I'm currently with a company called InstaWork. Not sure if you've heard of them.
Hmm.
It's hybrid role. They're like a modern on-demand staffing company. Been with them for about half a year.
Nice. And how's it going over there?
It's going pretty good. So in like my 6 months, first 3 months, I was about 220% to quota for like ramp up period. I'm in like a senior SDR role. And then this month I'm sitting around 6 qualified demo completes. Last month I was around 5 qualified demo completes. So it's been good. I did, like I said, so I recently moved and like finally got settled in. So I'm in Mesa, Arizona right now. So it is a little bit of a drive, like downtown Phoenix, like 45-ish, sometimes an hour or so. So I'm kind of
Yeah.
looking to transition to something that's like more remote and then just where I've got more opportunities to grow. They're past like their Series D round. So it's not growing as fast as, when they first started.
What have you talked to them about being remote there instead of quitting and just
Yeah,
what'd they say?
and not an option. Like I started with them when I was still in Michigan, and I kind of like requested to go remote. And what the enablement um, manager, she was like, "Look, either you're down here by next Thursday, or you're not gonna be with us." So literally, we drove like 30 hours cross country, Michigan to Arizona, just to make it down there.
Wow.
Yeah, it,
Wow.
it was a cool drive
You
though.
was your wife slash fiance at the time from Michigan? You guys moved to Phoenix together?
Yeah,
Wow. That's crazy.
yeah,
30-hour drive just to save that job.
yeah, pretty much.
So you're trying to find a place because you don't want to go into the office because the 45-minute drive sucks each
Yeah,
way.
that's biggest reason, and then like second reason is just looking for somewhere where I can grow a little bit, like a startup or a newer company. When I first broke into tech, I was with like an
Yeah.
ad tech startup, and I just like how it's fast paced. It's a lot of new opportunity. Being that they're like past like their fourth round of funding, a lot of the accounts that we're calling on have are either like win backs because one of the older reps messed it up, or it's just kind of a lot of fighting over territories and super regions, and um, the sales force needs to be cleaned up. So it just a little hectic, and I'm just looking for somewhere where it's like growth.
That makes sense. And so in this current job at InstaWork, you're a sales development representative. Can you talk to Dan and I a little bit about your process of like when you go into the office, how does it look? What do you start with? How do you conduct your job
Yeah.
responsibilities and
So
what are the KPIs and all that kind of stuff?
yeah. So in terms of KPIs, like just on a high level, I'm doing about give or take 100 outbound touches a day, mix of 50 personalized like strategic emails, and then I follow those up with like 50 outbound cold calls. From there, I try and get super descriptive, like looking at their LinkedIn, finding a couple of facts when it comes to the subject line, as well as when it comes to like the first couple sentences. And then from there, I have some social proof, like, hey, these are the partners that we've worked with. and just kind of ask if that's relevant, which is pretty similar to like the actual open call script I'm using too.
Sending email, or those are cold calls as you're talking to
So
them, right?
So yeah, pretty much both. I'll send that in the email, and then how it's structured is like we literally use that email that we send as the actual cold call script too.
So,
And then outside of that, like in terms of workflow, a lot of the time is spent like vetting, sourcing, enriching like the leads or the data for the accounts in Salesforce, making sure they've got the right mobile number, and then from there it's just like churning and burning through the pipeline, and then like passing things over to the account executives once it's set.
nice. In terms of generation of that list, who generates the list?
Yeah, so all like sales reps were in charge of generating like our own list, our own pipeline. So I mean, we do have like a Salesforce dashboard where there's a lot of just accounts as a whole in there, but then as well, it's like we're supposed to be doing about 50 to 75 like net new accounts on a weekly basis.
50 to 75 net new accounts on a weekly basis, you said?
Yeah, so like 10 a day.
Wow. Okay. And that's booking those for account executives to then close.
Yep.
What are the average ticket prices of these booked demos usually when they convert?
So it fluctuates because the solution that Instawork is selling is like a staffing on-demand type of contingent labor solution. So for an example, like my pipeline and account list ranges from, I've got some like enterprise mid-market almost level accounts that are like the Swire or Coca-Colas. And then we also can work with like a mom and pop like event rental shop that needs, you know, a couple of servers, a couple people to come in, pit stuff up, take it down. But as well, we can like fill those warehouse associate roles at scale within 24 hours for these large companies. We work with hotels, stadiums, concerts. So ticket price ranges, we just charge a markup in between what the professional is getting paid and what the partner is paying the professional. So it definitely depends on like the deal size. Same with the kind of how long it takes to close a deal. Just depends, like if it's an MSA or enterprise level, it's got to go up the chain with, you know, different C levels compared to if it's small, medium-sized business. Like we can literally get them signed, closed, and post shifts while, you know, they're on that demo.
Interesting. Wow. Cool. And so is that, I noticed on your resume, there's also some other things that you're doing too, like Wealth University.
Yeah.
What's that about and how's that going?
Yeah, so it's going really good. That's actually a virtual like hiring agency that me and a couple other founders, like we all co-founded and started together. And at this point, it's pretty automated where we've got different content creators, different affiliates, and pretty much we're bringing in traffic, and we built it from the ground up to now where we've got a couple of different companies that we're partnered with, like on the AI side that will help with resume revamp, automated resume send outs, and then as well, we'll offer like coaching, interview prep, and we've got some partnerships as well, like on the corporate side with other companies, whether it's like a placement fee or serving as like a headhunter, executive recruiter, where they're looking for a specific person, and we'll just kind of fill that role. So that's honestly like what helped me get into the kind of staffing role I'm in now too.
Nice. How many partners are there in that company, ownership wise?
So ownership wise, we've got about 4 partners, and then like just team wide, I believe we've got probably like 4 sales closers, 2 operators, and then like 10 virtual assistants.
I see. That's kind of a big team. Well, so you own a quarter of that company? Is that
Yeah.
kind of, is that motivating for you just to like focus on that full time?
I mean, it is at this point. I feel like because it's kind of automated, the returns are more diminishing compared to like still focusing on my career. My end goal is to, you know, be an enterprise account executive. So I think what helped me start that business and really get to that point was the 3 years prior that I had like in real estate sales, where I was my own agent doing full cycle deals. And then from there, I was at that ad tech startup for about 2 years. So like that experience together gave me a lot of the knowledge I needed to like kind of start and scale that virtual hiring agency to where it was and where it kind of capped out. So now I'm looking like, how do I get in a position where I'm not the smartest one in the room, but there's other people who are ahead of me, other people who know sales, other people I can learn from, and just develop more skills, develop myself, and have a better career. So then down the future, I now have, a lot more experience that I can draw on when I'm ready to, go on that next endeavor.
Do you like your three partners at Wealth University?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Why not just like hire the A players and just build your business?
Yeah.
Because and it sounds like it's got traction.
Yeah. I mean,
Be an account executive for something you own.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, so in the past, like I probably spent a good year or so like doing that and just building it up myself. But like the returns on it weren't enough to really scale it to where you're hiring A players and having them in on a retainer and just building that structure out. So it's kind of at like a good point to where the, margins are pretty high and the bottom line is pretty low. And it's like to scale at the way that we were like working with a lot of people, it wasn't at the point where, you can scale it like to the next level without changing up a lot of the business model.
I see. So it's something that you're going to slowly let die. It sounds
So
like.
I wouldn't let it die, but I mean, at this point, it's like it's in a good place and it's slowly growing, but it's not to where I want to like scale it and when you're scaling and moving things super fast, things start to break. You need to do this and that and hire this person or fire this person. So it's like it's at a really good point now where it's generating some extra income, but it's like if I'm putting more time, more income, more energy, the return on it may not be worth that investment.
Sure. Okay. Thanks for sharing about that. I was
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah, of course.
In terms of this business, Mail Monitor, what caught your eye about our job description?
Yeah, I mean, so I would say the first thing that caught my eye is like I was looking through the job description and I looked through your website and I was just looking at some of the top companies you're working with. TikTok was like the biggest one that stood out, and just the way, because I've probably built an email list of like 20, 30,000 people before, and I'm familiar with how Google, Yahoo, they're changing their different like verification things. I think it was like a month or so ago, where if you're sending out mass emails, you've got to have different type of requirements for them to send out. Otherwise, they're not going to be delivered. So I would just say the way things are changing in terms of email deliverability, security, and then obviously like just the partners that you guys have grown at the stage you're at is what interested me the most.
Nice. That's awesome. And is there any particular reason why you think you'd excel at an SDR role here?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I think I would excel is because I have multiple years of experience as an SDR and I'm passionate about sales. I've done sales since I was probably 14 years old. So now for the last like close to 10 years. So, I mean, it's just something that is kind of in me at this point. I feel like would translate very well.
Nice. When you're building lists and stuff like that, do you have a particular place that you utilize in order to generate those lists? How does that
So
work?
what I've used in the past was like StanStore, which is a smaller platform, but just a simple like lead magnet and then flowing that into the email list. So for an example, we offered like a free resume template, and that's where we probably generated like the first 20,000 leads. And then literally we just put them into like a simple 7-day flow. Here's a couple like more free resources. So I would just say like a simple lead magnet is really where I would start.
How many calls a day are you used to making? And do you use an auto dialer / power dialer?
Yeah, so it varies. Like in my first role in real estate, I was making like $300 a day using like a 3-line Mojo dialer. Right now, I'm just using SalesLoft, doing about 50 dials a day. So I'm comfortable anywhere in that spectrum. Obviously, with the 300 dials, I pretty much just pulled a list, called everyone. Compared to now, I'm being a lot more personalized, more strategic, the way I'm reaching out and to the people I'm reaching out to.
Yeah. And it's more effective now that you're personalizing it and making
Yeah,
it more laser.
way more effective.
Cool. Dan, I'm processing what he just said. If you have any questions, feel free to interject.
Yeah, are you still doing real estate on the side? Are you trying to get your license in Arizona?
I'm not, no. I probably got out of real estate like January 2021. Like right when the interest rates were flipping. Like I had purchased a condo at like 2.99%, and then like literally I just saw the rates going up and up and up, and like that's when the market kind of flipped. So not something I'm pursuing anymore.
Okay, got it. So what do you do in your spare time?
Yeah, and
When you,
I would say working out. I'm really big on that. I did track in high school, and I was like a top five in the state my last 2 years. So like running, lifting, working out is something I'm big on. I'm a pretty avid reader. Like to listen to podcasts, and then outside of that, like just spending time with my family.
nice, man. Nice.
What kind of podcasts?
I mean, so my favorite are like mindset, like self development. Um, those are like my favorite type of podcasts. But here and there, like maybe something that's just like entertaining, of like where it's gonna provoke your mind to think about other point of views or perspectives. It's like intellectual stuff.
Nice.
What, what was the last book you read?
Last book I read, so right now I'm reading two. One is by Rick Rubin, like the Creative Act, and then like full read was The Alchemist. I forget who that one's by. It might be
Paulo Coelho, right? Is that Paulo
Yeah.
Coelho?
Yeah, this one right here.
Who wrote that?
Yeah, Paulo
Yeah.
Coelho.
Yeah, Paulo Coelho.
Yes.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
I read half that book and then I forgot about it.
Yeah, no, it's a good read. Like once you get to the end, I like it.
So 12 months from now, you wave a magic wand right now, and 12 months from now, you have sort of this vision manifested that you've had for yourself. Like, what does life look like
Yeah.
12 months from
So I would say,
family, you own more condos, and you're an accounting executive. How's it look?
yeah, so definitely an account executive. And then I would say just being able to travel a lot more, kind of explore some different places. I would say I'd be pretty settled in like in Arizona, and then just like in the best shape. One of my goals has been to run either like a 10K or start to get closer to maybe running a marathon one day. So I would just say in really good shape and investing, and then account executive and just, living life.
Nice. I remember Dan and I back in the day, we set a workout goal for being able to do 20 squats at 225,
Jeez.
20 bench press at 225, run, what was it, an 8-minute mile?
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
10 miles at 8 minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Never could get to that 225 bench or squat, man. That's killer on the joints and the knees.
Yeah, 225 is, I can get like 1 or 2, but
I can do like 12 if I'm lucky. But
Yeah.
20 is just, that's like,
yeah, that's
That's
like
crazy.
NFL combine.
come on, dude. 20 at 225 bench.
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe did 16, but I never hit 20.
20 is freaking hard.
That's still really
intense.
good.
You gotta be a bigger dude for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. 16 is still good. 16 and 8 minute for 10 miles. It's really good.
8 minutes for 1 mile.
Oh, 8 minutes for 1 mile.
Oh, dang.
What's-
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, you're pacing 8 minutes for 10 miles is insane.
Is- I don't care what you say, Dan. You're not doing that. So, what other questions do we have to ask Sharif to make sure he's a good fit? Sharif, this is hard because, like, if we end up working together, we're going to see you more than our significant others.
Yeah.
You're going to see us more than your wife, potentially. Or at least talk to us or be aware of us. And so it's like, you don't want to work with the wrong person. So, what was the last thing that really pissed you off? What happened? How'd you react to it?
Last thing.
When Sharif Dyer II gets pissed off, like what triggers you? Like,
Last thing, so like for me, another good book I like is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. So like I usually try and like be calm, like have equanimity, like whether through the ups and the downs, like I'm pretty centered, pretty focused. But the last time I was pissed off was probably like leaving, like right before I was getting ready to leave Michigan. And I feel like there's only a few people, and one of those few people would be my parents that could like really rattle me or like get me off my center. So the last time it was just like kind of talking back and forth between them and other people, and like just not good things that were said. And I mean, I would say kind of how it affected me, or how, I saw the situation was like literally trying to take myself out of like my shoes or my position and understand like where they're coming from, maybe what the misunderstanding was, and then just giving it some time. Like, give it a little bit of time. Um, and I mean, from there, I feel like time definitely like heals all wounds. So I would say that's the biggest thing. Like, when I get to that point or when I'm in that situation, I kind of just need time, space, and like to come back to the situation at a later time and date, for sure.
What's your boss like at InstaWork?
Yeah, my manager Katie, she's super super cool, super chill. Um, I mean, to describe her, she's been with them for about 4 years, so she's a veteran. She knows what she's talking about, and honestly, she's like, it seems like she's a member on the team because she's always like one step ahead of, hey, this is where we're going to be at for next month. This is what the quota is going to look like. These are some of the accounts that the top reps on our team are calling on. Let's set up a call. We'll show you guys how to source these. So I would say she's very forward thinking and just like almost a team member that's working along with us.
Enough to let you work from home.
You said, what about working from home?
She's not forward thinking enough to let you work from home.
Yeah, no, not at all.
You're gonna leave for team?
So I haven't yet. Just want to wait until that opportunity comes. But
That makes sense. Do you think if you tell them you're leaving, that they might be like, all right, Sharif, you can work from home. We don't want to lose you. 220 of the quota is like, we can't lose that.
honestly not. Like, I've seen them let go, people who have been there for 3 years, just because they've had such a push for like the return to office on the hybrid schedule. Just the way they have things. Like, I've seen them let go a enterprise SDR manager. He was there for 5 years. He like actually started the Phoenix office. He was one of the first reps there. And then as well, like another one of their national AEs, he just moved to Atlanta and he's not with them anymore. So them as another guy, account executive, he's been closing deals. He was out in LA and like he was remote, same thing. So I mean, it seems like they definitely have a decent amount of turnover, but for them, they're a staffing company, so it's not like they're going to be hurting to find new people.
Yeah. What is your incentive and base pay there right now at InstaWork?
Yeah, so right now, base is about 60,000, and then OTE is like 93.
Okay. And that's for being an SDR, right?
Yeah, it's like a senior SDR role.
I see. Okay. How much is that a month? They pay you monthly?
Yeah, twice a month.
I see. Dan, do you have questions? Other questions for Sharif? We're at time in 5 minutes.
No, I don't have any other questions right now. No.
Yeah. What's your timeline, Sharif, to jump ship?
I'm pretty open. I'm flexible. I mean, it really depends on, your timeline with the interview process, but I would need maybe like, depending on, when the start date is, April 1st, I'd be, probably soonest I'd be available.
Hmm. Do you have salary expectations for the next role?
I would say within range. I mean, I'm definitely flexible in terms of salary. Like, my biggest thing is just finding the right team that can be competitive but also supportive, and then as well just finding like the right role for me where I can lay a foundation and look at the next year or two and really have a good path.
Awesome. Cool. Did you have any questions for us before we jump off?
Yeah, I mean, just tell me a little bit more outside of like you guys. What does your team right now look like?
So outside of Dan and I and Jen who's on this call, the team is mostly technical developers.
Okay.
We have some external marketers that spread the word about what we do, but everybody's a technical developer that works on the software platform. Our technology stack is really deep, so
Okay.
the bulk of our team is not on the commercialization side, but on the building side. And it takes a lot of energy to keep everything maintained. So that's where the bulk of our resources lie. Yeah.
Okay, so like in terms of like sales team, like do you have any account executives, any sales reps, or is this something like you guys are just starting to build out?
You're looking at it right here. This
Sweet.
is the conversation force and mail monitor. Yeah,
Nice.
we're adding to the team right now, so we're building it up.
Okay. And I would say a year from now, where do you see Mail Monitor? Like, where do you see the team? Where do you see the company? What's the vision?
Yeah, so I think in a year from now, we have doubled our revenues. We've also we've probably doubled or tripled the size of the sales team as well. So there should be somewhere in the ballpark of 4 or 5, 6 or 7 people on the commercialization front.
Nice.
Tech stack wise, we've dropped a bunch of features that put us neck and neck with all the competitors. And then, yeah, the doubling of revenue. It's going to be the key
Yeah.
metric for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of just metrics for the role, what does that look like?
Let's talk about that on the second call.
Okay.
We can drop all those details like metrics, revenue, like KPIs, benchmarks, all that stuff. Any other high-level questions in the next 2 minutes?
Oh, last thing, like where are you guys based out of now?
We're all remote. Everybody's
Yeah.
remote. We started the company remote 15 years ago. So Dan's in Boise. I'm in Thailand, Montana.
That's nice.
And then we did it all over Canada, the US, and Asia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's cool. The one caveat is that just there's not a lot of together time unless we're on Zoom. And so as the team grows, we want to start scheduling like a once every 6 months meetup kind of thing and get together and hang out. So
Yeah.
there'll be real culture and morale and just break up the monotony a little bit. But we've been remote first since the very beginning, and we've been a smaller team, so there hasn't been a need. Everyone's just kind of does their work and then goes and lives life.
That's how it should be.
Sing Kumbaya by the water cooler kind of company ever.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, it's okay. Sing a little song and do a little dance together.
I like that a lot.
Keeps them.
And
Yeah.
you said how long ago you guys founded and started this company?
15 years approximately.
Wow. So how old are you guys now?
Dan? How old does Dan look? How old do I look?
You guys don't look like you started the company 15 years ago.
I didn't start anything.
Yeah.
I'm 33.
33? Okay.
No.
I'm the same as Dan.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, man. We were not allowed to ask you how old you are because it's
No?
illegal.
Oh, shoot. Well, I'm about 10 years below you guys.
Okay. You can ask that.
Yeah. Sure, you didn't ask it. I offered it.
But, it's really nice to meet you, Sharif. Thank you for your time. We'll circulate this with the team, and then someone will get in touch with you if they want to move forward with this and take it to the next level, okay?
Sweet. It's been a pleasure, Adrian. Dan, it's nice meeting you guys. We'll talk
You
soon.
as well. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful evening, okay?
All right. Peace.
Okay. Good.